Hello everybody, Dilwong here, and today I'm going to review Maleficent starring Angelina Jolie. I was pretty much very curious about this movie because at first I was very surprised that Disney decided to make a live action movie of one of the greatest Disney villain ever, Maleficent from Sleeping Beauty. I remember when I was a kid, Maleficent really scared me a lot, just like that evil queen in Snow and the Seven Dwarfs and Ursula in The Little Mermaid. Now, I like Sleeping Beauty. It's one of the most classic Disney animated film ever made. So when I heard that Angelina Jolie was cast as Maleficent, I was very excited and see how it goes. Now that I went to see this film with my mom and aunt, what do I think of the film? This movie is awesome! But before I could tell you why I think this film is awesome, as always, this is a non-spoiler review, and I need to tell you all that every movie that I decide to review, I will not spoil anything. Now let's move on. Let's first start with the story. The story of this film was much different than Sleeping Beauty. Maleficent in this film was not portrayed as a villain like in the 1959 animated Sleeping Beauty, as well as the White Witch in Narnia or Celeste Theron as the evil queen in Snow and the Huntsman. Instead, she's both good and bad at the same time, kind of like Sarah Kerrigan in the StarCraft video games. It started off as when Maleficent was a young girl. She was a very happy fairy and later met a boy named Stefan, which eventually they fell in love with each other. However, it didn't last long when a king and his armies tried to take over the forest, but Maleficent and her armies defeated them. Stefan eventually betrayed Maleficent by cutting out her wings and become king. Maleficent later met a raven, which she uses her power to let him shapeshift any animal she wants him to be and becomes her sidekick. One day, King Stefan now has a daughter named Aurora, and like in the beginning of Sleeping Beauty, three fairies comes to see baby Aurora and gives her a gift until Maleficent interrupts the celebration and puts a curse on Aurora. So the three fairies decide to adopt Aurora and keep her in a safe place, while King Stefan and his men wanted to hunt down Maleficent. Unlike Sleeping Beauty, even though Maleficent hated Aurora, but later on decided to treat Aurora like a daughter. The story of this film, in my opinion, was pretty decent, nothing special. Now for the special effect. The special effect of this film is really amazing and beautiful to look at. The CGI in this film was well done, the landscape was perfectly detailed, and the creatures of this film was very creative. The part where Maleficent uses her power was pretty impressive as well. The battle sequence in this film was cool, but not as intense as the battle sequence in The Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, and Chronicles of Narnia. The costume design looks wonderful, and the makeup looks a lot more realistic. Now for the acting, directing, and music. Let's start off with Maleficent, played by one of my favorite actresses, Angelina Jolie, who has been in movies like Lara Croft Tomb Raider, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and Wanted. Wow, absolutely wonderful. Her portrayal as Maleficent was very dark and menacing. Unlike the original Maleficent, Maleficent in this film was more tragic and depressing that we should feel sorry for. Now moving on to Princess Aurora, played by Dakota Fanning's younger sister, Elle Fanning, who was from J.J. Abrams' Super 8, and I think she did pretty well. Elle's portrayal as Princess Aurora was almost like Aurora in the 1959 animated Sleeping Beauty, but she does not sing, and she was not afraid of Maleficent. Then there's King Stefan, played by Shara Copley, who is best known for playing Whiskey the man who helped the aliens in District 9 and that evil villain Kruger in Elysium. Unlike King Stefan in the original Sleeping Beauty, where he is a kind-hearted king and loves his daughter so much that he wanted her safe, King Stefan in this film was completely unlikable. Although I think Shara Copley was a great actor, I enjoy his performance in District 9 and Elysia, but his portrayal as King Stefan acted like a real jerk. He doesn't care about anybody else, only himself and his kingdom. In my opinion, sure, Copley's performance as King Stefan is not as good as his portrayal as Kruger the evil agent in Elysium. The three fairies played all by that British actress who played that mean professor in the Harry Potter films, Leslie Manville and Juno Temple. I think they're just meh. They're not as good as the three fairies in the original Sleeping Beauty. They act more like female version of the Three Stooges and Ed and Nettie. Now I do want to talk about the shape-shifting raven played by Sam Riley. He did a pretty good job and becomes one of my favorite characters of the film. As for Prince Philip played by that guy whom I don't know how to pronounce his name, well, I don't want to give anything away, but he's much different than the original Prince Philip and didn't have much to do. This is the first time Robert Stromberg has ever directed a film, since he's only a product designer for films like James Cameron's Avatar, Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland, and Oz the Great and Powerful. Though he does not did an amazing job directing this film, but I think he did okay. Now for the music composed by James Norton Howard, who teams up with Hans Zimmer for Batman Begins and The Dark Knight, as well as composing other films like The Fugitive, Outbreak, Waterworld, The Sixth Sense, Hidalgo, Peter Jackson's 2005 remake King Kong, I Am Legend, Green Lantern, the Hunger Games film series, and Snow and the Huntsman. He pretty much did a good job composing the music for this film. Oh, and of course the song. Once Upon a Dream sang by Lana Del Rey. And that song sounds beautiful, and it does sound like the themes in the original Sleeping Beauty. Overall, I had a fun time watching this film. By the way, my mom, Ann, and I did not see it in 3D, but that's fine. You don't have to see it in 3D. Though I think this film did had its flaws, like Keith Stephan is an unlikable king, and the three fairies are not like the three fairies in the 1959 original animated film. And big surprise, Prince Philip's father did not make any appearance in this film. While it's not as great as Steven Spielberg's Hook, Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland, Snow and the Huntsman, and Oz the Great and the Powerful, but I liked it, it was fun, and overall, this movie is awesome, but not a classic. I give this movie 3.5 out of 5 nuclear bombs. If you're a fan of Disney, you should go see it, but don't expect this movie to be a classic like Sleeping Beauty. Now, when my mom and I are in the theater before they start the movie, they show a teaser trailer for Disney's live-action Cinderella movie. I will definitely see it, but I doubt it will be as good as Disney's animated Cinderella.